Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the March 8th, 2022 meeting of the Indiana Gaming Commission. My pleasure to call this meeting to order. My name is Mike McMains. Ray, could you call the roll of the commissioners, please?
Absolutely. Chairman McMains.
Here.
Vice Chair Fine.
Here.
Secretary Dudich.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Cohen.
Here.
Commissioner Houseman.
Here.
Commissioner Root.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Greg, let the record reflect we have a quorum and all commissioners are present. Next, commissioners, review and approval of the minutes for the December 21, 2021 meeting of Indiana Gaming Commission. Have you all had a chance to review the minutes?
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Commissioners, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the December 21, 2021 meeting of the Indiana Gaming Commission. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Oh,
All right. Have a lot of new hires and promotions to announce. We'll start out in central office. Bob Opat was promoted to License Control Counsel in January. Previously, Bob had worked as a staff attorney for the IGC and the Department of Child Services. Bob has a bachelor's degree in political science from Indiana University and a law degree from Georgetown University. Next up, Alex Dudley has been promoted to Deputy General Counsel. Alex started as a staff attorney with the IGC in April of 2021. Prior to joining the IGC, Alex clerked for the Honorable Cale J. Bradford of the Indiana Court of Appeals and also worked as a managing associate for Denton's Bingham Greenbaum LLP. Next up, Chris Neal was hired as an IGC staff attorney in January. Chris graduated from Indiana University Bloomington in 2016 and IU McKinney School of Law, Indianapolis in 2020. While in law school, Chris externed with the Gaming Commission in the fall of 2019. Chris worked as an administrative law judge with the Indiana Department of Workforce Development before joining the IGC. Liz Sullivan has been promoted to the position of information analyst. Liz previously served as IGC secretary for 2 years. Liz brings a wealth of accounting, administration, and gaming industry experience to the IGC. Leah Foster is the new sports wagering assistant director. Leah began her professional career in the not-for-profit accounting auditing field after earning an associate's degree in accounting from Ivy Tech. Leah has earned a bachelor's degree in accounting and a master's degree in criminal justice and public safety from IU Indianapolis. Leah is also a certified fraud examiner. Before joining the IGC, Leah managed the Indiana Department of Workforce Development's Field Investigations Unit. Marianne McDonald is the new assistant controller. Marianne is a University of Dayton grad with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a major in accounting. She worked for 24 years at Indiana University in various departments, mainly in accounting and finance and business operations roles. For the last 5 years, she worked as an administrative support manager for the Materials and Test Division at NDOT. Investigations has hired 3 new employees. Ian Hill comes to the IGC with over 15 years of experience conducting in-depth background investigations on personnel serving in various federal positions. Ian holds a BA from Boston University and a master's in public policy from Pepperdine University. Next up, Melina Gonzalez has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and was most recently senior director of professional services with Meridian Technologies. In this role, she worked with gaming clients on software and data collection. Prior to Meridian, Melina was a background investigator with the Raccoon Band of Lisueno Indians in California, where she conducted background and financial investigations on gaming applicants. Caitlyn Hannah has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and has been with the IGC since 2016. She served as the IGC's assistant director of compliance and most recently as a field auditor before her promotion to the role of financial investigator. Our charity gaming division has 3 new hires. Karen Wethington will be the person who greets and helps those who come to the IGC in person. Karen has close to 20 years of experience in education in Shelbyville and at Bunker Hill Elementary School. Most recently, she worked for HIS Construction Management Corporation. Karen and her husband were the owners of Greenwood Swin Cycling for over 20 years. Amy Overacker recently moved to Indiana from Michigan. She earned a BS degree in education from Western Michigan University and has experience in education in Tennessee and Michigan. Most recently, she was the backup lead at Edwards Garment Company, which produced high-quality garments and uniforms for customers. Jerry Joe Blazier is our new program coordinator in the charity gaming division. Jerry comes to us from ATC, where she began her state employment in 2012. She recently worked in the accounts receivable section and had experience in the bartender's salesman permit section. We have a ton of new hires and promotions in our enforcement division. For the new hires, Margaret McKinley started with the IGC in January as a gaming agent. Margaret has previously worked for the state of Kentucky in the social services division. Margaret also previously worked for the Jefferson County Judicial Center. Margaret also possesses 2 master's degrees in justice administration and social work. Margaret also has a bachelor's degree in justice administration. She is a certified social worker. Margaret will be assigned to the Belterra Casino once she completes her Tier 2 training at Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. Zachary Claussen transferred to the IGC from the DOC to become a gaming agent in January. Zachary has been a corrections officer with the Westville Correctional Facility for the last 2 years before joining the IGC. He also interned with the Valparaiso Police Department and has a bachelor's degree from Purdue University in sociology and criminal justice with a minor in political science. He will be assigned to Horseshoe Hammond Casino once he completes Tier 2 training at Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. Jacob Pierce joined the IGC in January as well. Jacob came to the IGC with industry experience, previously working in surveillance at Hollywood Casino. He possesses a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and police studies from Eastern Kentucky University. Jacob will be assigned to the Rising Star Casino once he completes Tier 2 training at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. Jason LaFollette joined the IGC in January as well. Jason came to the IGC with industry experience, previously working in surveillance at Hollywood Casino. He graduated from Northern Kentucky University with the BA in radio and television and a minor in PR and advertising. He will be assigned to the Rising Star Casino once he completes his Tier 2 training. Enforcement promotions. David Panic was promoted to Assistant Supervisor at Horseshoe, Indianapolis on March 6, 2022. David began his career with the commission 14 years ago after graduating from Campbell University with a degree in criminal justice. While working for the commission, he has continued his education and obtained a master's degree in criminal justice with a concentration in crime analysis. He has attended multiple training courses over the years to expand his knowledge of the criminal justice system and how it relates to his job with the commission. Marissa Duare was promoted to supervisor at the Harrah's Hoosier Park Casino in February. She has been with the IGC over 14 years, serving as a gaming agent working at Harrah's Hoosier Park and Indiana Grand Casinos. In September of 2020, she was promoted to assistant supervisor, Indiana Grand Casino. She graduated from Ball State University with a Master's of Art degree focusing on political science. David Jenkins was promoted to assistant supervisor at Harrah's Hoosier Park on March 6, 2022 as well. David began with the IGC just over 14 years ago and has been employed by the state for 22 years. He received a BS in criminal justice and homeland security in 2008 from Indiana Wesleyan. Gary Moody was promoted to the role of enforcement investigator in February. He started as an agent with the IGC in September of 2012. He started at Rising Star Casino and transferred to Indiana Grand. Prior to working for the IGC, he spent 26 years at the Columbus Police Department, reaching the rank of captain. Kelly Loskamp was promoted to assistant supervisor at Hollywood Casino on March 6th. Kelly is a graduate from Purdue University, where she received a BA majoring in elementary education. She has been a gaming enforcement agent with the IGC for 15 years. In January of 2007, she began her career with the IGC in Grand Victoria Casino, Rising Sun, Indiana. In January 2011, she transferred to Hollywood, where she has been since. Joe Cinco was promoted to supervisor at Horseshoe Hammond Casino on March 6th. He has worked for the IGC for 7.5 years. He was promoted to assistant supervisor in 2018 at the then Majestic Star Casino prior to his supervisor promotion. Joe has an associate's degree from Purdue University in business management. He's been in law enforcement for 30 years with 22 years at the Dyer Police Department. David Whitesell was promoted to supervisor at Rising Star Casino in January. David has been with the IGC for almost 16 years. He was the assistant supervisor at Hollywood Casino for the past 5 years. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Ohio Northern University. Congratulations to all. For reinvestigations, our investigations division has completed reinvestigations for the following licensees: Data Financial, Global Surveillance Associates, Caesars, including Horseshoe Hammond, Caesars Southern Indiana, Horseshoe Indianapolis, and Harris Hoosier Park. Boyd Gaming, including Blue Chip and Belterra. Penn, including Ameristar and Hollywood. The confidential reports are in your materials. Directors Brown and Leak are also present should you have any additional questions. Exclusions. The IGC has added 21 individuals to the statewide exclusion list since the December 2021 meeting. The total number of individuals on that list is now 920. Waivers. The IGC has granted 11 waivers to Indiana casinos since the previous meeting. This information is included in your materials, will also be posted on the Commission's website. That concludes my report.
Greg, and congratulations to all the promotions and our new employees. Next, we'll administer the oath of folks that are going to present today in front of the commission. So everybody who thinks you may present today and speak today to the commission, would you please stand and raise your right hand? I state your name. Solemnly swear.
Do solemnly
State the truth.
state the truth,
Nothing but the truth.
and nothing,
Help me God.
so help me God.
Standing, I'll go around and have you recite your names for the record. Ma'am.
And Dennis Mullen.
Everybody? Is there any old business to come before the commission today? Hearing none, new business. Alex?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Before you have orders 2021-01 through 05 concerning the petitions for removal from the exclusion list of Barbara Coleman Bishop, Armand Caldwell, Everett Rogers, Keisha Franklin, and Theo Tron. Petitioners have been placed in the exclusion list for over 3 years and have petitioned to be removed from the exclusion list. Telephonic hearings were conducted at which each provided support for their petitions. Based on the totality of the factors relevant in these matters, the reviewing officer has concluded that all petitioners have met the standard of clear and convincing evidence as reflected in staff's findings of fact and recommendation. Adopting staff's finding of fact and recommendations would have the effect of granting petitioners petition for removal from the statewide exclusion list.
Any questions for Mr. Dudley? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion on the approval of orders 2022-01 through 2022-05 as presented by staff.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve orders 2022-01 and through 2022-05. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Dudley?
Next, you have before you order 2022-06 pursuant to the Indiana Code Section 4-33-7-8 and 68 Indiana Administrative Code Section 2-28. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. Global Surveillance, IGT, Halifax Security, Zuvid, Acres Manufacturing, Data Financial, Incredible Technologies, Tony DeLon and Associates, Interblock Luxury Gaming Products, TCS John Huxley Europe, Genesis Gaming Solutions, GAN Limited, Amelco UK Limited, Sports Radar Solutions, SG Gaming, Patriot Gaming and Electronics. Approving Order 2022-06 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. Also, you have before you Orders 2022-07 and 08 regarding the renewal of Horseshoe Indianapolis Casino and Horseshoe Park Casinos owners license. Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park have filed the appropriate paperwork and paid for their renewal fee. Previously, by Orders 2021-08 and 2021-09, the commission had approved the written powers of attorney for Horseshoe Indianapolis, which was then Indiana Grand, and Hoosier Park. These approvals expire upon the renewal of casino owner's license. For that reason, all casinos must request renewal of the commission's approval of the written power of attorney concurrently with the request for renewal or presentation to the commission with a new written power of attorney naming a new trustee in waiting. Blue Chip and Rising Star have stated their intent to maintain their existing trustees in waiting and have not presented the commission with any modifications to their power of attorney. Approving Orders 2022-07 and 2022-08 would have the effect of renewing the licenses and approving the powers of attorney for Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park for a period of 1 year. You also have before you Order 2022-09 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-38-6-6. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment: Roar Digital, PointsBet Indiana, and Win Sports. Approving Order 2022-09 would have the effect of renewing the license of each respective licensee for a period of 1 year. And last, you have before you Order 2022-10. Pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-33-24-15 and 68 Indiana Administrative Code Section 26-3-10, each of the following has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment: Underdog Sports. Approving Order 2022-10 would have the effect of renewing the license of the respective licensee for a period of 1 year. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Counselor. Questions for Mr. Dudley?
I'm curious to know when the name change occurred from Indiana Grand to Horseshoe Indianapolis is the first part of my question. And the second is, I don't remember that we took any action. It wasn't brought to us for approval. Was it approved by the Horse Racing Commission or did it not require approval?
The name change typically does not come to the commission before for formal approval. They did notify the commission or notify staff of the name change. I believe
It was fairly recent. We've updated our web list, so I could pull up the name change, but as Executive Director Small indicated, this is not a change that would require commission approval under any regulation or statute.
Seems a little strange to me that because this facility is not in Indianapolis nor but since we don't have jurisdiction.
I believe we have representatives from Caesars if you would like to ask them.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. So who's here from Caesars today? Coming up, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Daniel Nita.
I swear.
I do hereby swear. Full truth.
Identify yourself for the record,
Sure.
please.
Daniel Nita. I'm the regional president of Caesars. I have the opportunity to oversee Horseshoe Casino in Hammond, Harris Hoosier Park, and formerly Indiana Grand, now Horseshoe Indianapolis, which is the question. We've, to your point, we've given notice to both commissions, horse race. Our thought, just like we did with Hoosier Park, we have 4 key brands in our company. We have Caesars, Harrah's, Horseshoe, World Series of Poker. And so our goal over time is to transition the names of our different or brands, which we believe equity, customers from around the country know the different. We did the same thing with Hoosier Park. I guess it was years ago, and definitely seen guests that travel throughout the country. They now know this is Park. They didn't know that. Horseshoe, again, another great brand that we have. The terminology Indianapolis is really to, it's less for the local community. Everybody calls it the Horseshoe, but for guests that are coming, particularly conventioneers as an example, it gives them the opportunity to know that there is a casino offering that's within a short period of time. We attribute it closest to, if you think about the New York Giants and New York Jets, but they play in New Jersey, but they have moniker. People know about New York more so than they do the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Cincinnati Airport is in Kentucky, but the moniker again is associated with metropolis that it's near. And so in our case, we thought Indianapolis is an amazing a name that's known nationwide. We've communicated with both the mayor of Shelbyville and Shelby County, and they were understanding of the changes that we decided to make. With the $40 million investment that we most recently made and are making, that this puts us in a opportunity to expand our brand awareness.
So you communicated with the Shelbyville government, so to speak,
Sure.
But Indianapolis,
Uh,
is there any communication?
No, I mean, this is, I don't believe we have communicated directly with the city of Indianapolis.
Commissioner Williams, that change was made on December 21st of 2021.
Sure. We look forward to the opportunity to host the commission to see all the progress that we made. We had the opportunity to have Executive Director Small at the ribbon cutting that we had on the 22nd of February, and it was a partners. And next time you see the property, you'll be hopefully pleasantly surprised by all the positive change that we've been making.
Sorry, one question. Hypothetically, if a casino was ever built in Marion County in Indianapolis, what's the name again?
I'll approach that if that were ever transpire.
Because I can tell you the city of Indianapolis would probably want to promote whatever facility might be in Indianapolis, and not to confuse visitors that there's two Indianapolises in Indiana. So might be something to consider, that if there's future ideas for names, if the city of Indianapolis or Marion County ever considers or has provided the opportunity for a casino, might need to discuss that with the city of Indianapolis.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We operate under the license count that we currently have. And so if that were to take place and then in the future, we'd obviously thanks.
Questions or discussion on Mr. Dudley's presentation of proposed orders 2022-06 through 2022-10? Hearing none, what is your pleasure, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval of orders 2022-06 through 2022-10 as provided by staff.
Chairman, I'll second.
Thank you, commissioners. Probably moved and seconded to approve orders 2022-06 through 2022-10. Any further discussion on the motion? None. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Executive Staff. You have before you 11 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary actions against licensed suppliers 12 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against casinos, 2 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against corporate entities, and 12 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against sports wagering operators. Order 2022-11 is a settlement agreement with Aristocrat Technologies totaling $1,500. Order 2022-12 is a settlement agreement with Every Payments totaling $3,000. Order 2022-13 is a settlement agreement with GAN Limited totaling $2,500. Order 2022-14 is a settlement agreement with Gaming Partners International totaling $3,000. Order 2022-15 is a settlement agreement with IGT totaling $3,000. Order 2022-16 is a settlement agreement with Interblock, including 3 counts totaling $7,000. Order 2022-17 is a settlement agreement with Pala Interactive, including 3 counts totaling $5,500. Order 2022-18 is a settlement agreement with Patriot Gaming and Electronics totaling $1,500. Order 2022-19 is a settlement agreement with Scientific Games totaling $6,000. Order 2022-20 is a settlement agreement with TCS John Huxley, including 2 counts totaling $4,000. Order 2022-21 is a settlement agreement with White Hat Gaming totaling $1,500. Order 2022-22 is a settlement agreement with Ameristar East Chicago, including 5 counts totaling $20,000. Order 2022-23 is a settlement agreement with Bally's Evansville, including 7 counts totaling $21,500. Order 2022-24 is a settlement agreement with Belterra Casino totaling $1,000. Order 2022-25 is a settlement agreement with Blue Chip Casino, including 8 counts totaling $24,500. Order 2022-26 is a settlement agreement with Caesars Southern Indiana, including 7 counts totaling $36,500. Order 2022-27 is a settlement agreement with French Lick Resort Casino, including 2 counts totaling $2,500. Order 2022-28 is a settlement agreement with Hard Rock Northern Indiana, including 6 counts totaling $41,500. Order 2022-29 is a settlement agreement with Harris Hoosier Park, including 7 counts totaling $20,000. Order 2022-30 is a settlement agreement with Hollywood Casino, including 3 counts totaling $15,000. Order 2022-31 is a settlement agreement with Horseshoe Hammond, including 5 counts totaling $20,000. Order 2022-32 is a settlement agreement with Horseshoe Indianapolis, including 7 counts totaling $27,500. Order 2022-33 is a settlement agreement with Rising Star Casino, including 6 counts totaling $32,000. Order 2022-34 is a settlement agreement with Boyd Gaming Corporation, including 2 counts totaling $3,500. Order 2022-35 is a settlement agreement with Caesars Holding Incorporated, including 2 counts totaling $4,500. Order 2022-36 is a settlement agreement with Digital Gaming Corporation doing business as Betway, totaling $1,000. Order 2022-37 is a settlement agreement with Churchill Downs Interactive Gaming, including 4 counts totaling $16,063. Order 2022-38 is a settlement agreement with Caesar Sportsbook, including 7 counts totaling $16,000. Order 2022-39 is a settlement agreement with DraftKings, including 3 counts totaling $26,938. Order 2022-40 is a settlement agreement with FanDuel Sportsbook, including 2 counts totaling $6,125. Order 2022-41 is a settlement agreement with Caesars Racing Sportsbook, Clarksville, including 2 counts totaling $8,000. Order 2022-42 is a settlement agreement with Penn Sports Interactive, including 2 counts totaling $4,500. Order 2022-43 is a settlement agreement with PointsBet totaling $1,000. Order 2022-44 is a settlement agreement with Roar Digital, including 3 counts totaling $63,938. Order 2022-45 is a settlement agreement with The Score totaling $1,000. Order 2022-46 is a settlement agreement with Unibet, including 3 counts totaling $12,000. Order 2022-47 is a settlement agreement with WinBet, including 3 counts totaling $6,500. Relevant details for each settlement agreement have been provided in your meeting materials. Details on the settlement agreements will also be available on the commission's website following the meeting. Mr. Chair, this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Bunton?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maybe not a direct question for you, but just in general, and Executive Director Small might remember this, but back in December of 19, I think Commissioner Williams and I had been discussing the large number of fines and disciplinary actions that were on the agenda back then. And it asked if we need to look at the fine schedule or the disciplinary schedule in terms of the amounts that are in there, if those need to be updated, either because they haven't been updated in a while or they were too low and it was just a cost of business. So I realize I'm putting you on the spot, Executive Director, but when prior Executive Director Tate responded, there were a lot of things going on. We'll look into it. Obviously, a lot has happened since December of 19. So is that something we can look at? Has it been looked at? Just a quick update, because with all of these and going through all of those, is it time to kind of crack that open again? Are we good with where those fines are? Do we need to try to be more aggressive to try to send a message that, to have this many is just probably not an acceptable business practice?
We actually have updated the fine schedule in that time frame. And one of the things that we have done is, I believe we only have one fine that's more of the $500 range. And we will not bring those to the commission until it's at least $1,000. So we're holding those off. We've reviewed the entire fine schedule because it helps us for consistency when levying the fines. It also adds transparency to the process. I think right now we are comfortable where we are at with the amounts. Obviously, we continue to look at things. We will implement new things as necessary. For instance, we had a problem with our child support intercepts. So we instituted an audit program, which did lead to some fines. However, we have seen much greater compliance in that area because of that. We have a similar initiative that we're looking at with sports wagering, which is why you're seeing some of the fines where they're at. These involve prohibited participants. And we see that as another significant issue that we want to focus on. And we will work toward that end. And that is a good point as well. The March meeting typically has some carryover. It covers more months, so we're going to have more. Plus, as you'll recall, we had a lot of special meetings for, offering a new license, other litigation matters. So some of these more run-of-the-mill compliance issues sort of got backburnered a little bit. So some of these, I believe, go back until.
Yeah, I was going to say that the last meeting that I really did a chunk was the September meeting. And so these reports are about almost probably 6 months worth. I think some probably date back to August. So it's a lot of holdovers.
Yeah, and that was part of my thought process. We hadn't done much. We'd had a lot of meetings, but hadn't done a lot of the disciplinary and the regulatory side. So want to just put down the record that it had been a while, but also to also put on the record that we've reviewed those. So I appreciate that update because that's the last thing I remember seeing. And again, other things came up. So completely understand. That's really helpful. Do appreciate it. Thank you.
Comment. And what is your pleasure with proposed order 2022-11 through 20?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve orders 2022-11 through 2022-47 as written.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve orders 2022-11 through 2022-47. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Dudley.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, you have before you order 2022-48 concerning an application for an occupational license to work for an Indiana licensee. With regard to this order, the applicant failed to disclose his complete criminal history and therefore failed to meet the established standards for licensure. The applicant was given an opportunity to withdraw his application for consideration, but failed to do so. Despite detailed information regarding this order is contained in your commission materials, approving order 2022-48 would have the effect of denying this application. You also have before you orders 2022-48 through 53, which concern settlement agreements between commission staff and occupational licensees. In lieu of disciplinary action, commission staff offered each of these licensees a settlement agreement that would have them agree to an unpaid voluntary relinquishment of their occupational license for a period of regularly scheduled working days with no vacation or other time paid off to be used. Each of these licensees has agreed to the terms of the settlement. Detailed information regarding each of these matters is contained in your materials that have been provided to each of you. Approving orders 2022-48 through 53 would have the effect of ratifying the agreements with the occupational licensees. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Dudley? None. What is your pleasure concerning proposed orders 2022-48 through 2022-53?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval of orders 2022-48 through 20.
Have a second.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's been probably moved and seconded to approve orders 2022-48 through 2022-53. That's Mr. Dudley. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Next, Commissioners, you have before you Resolution 2022-55 regarding the adoption of an emergency rule regarding casino owners, licensees, and other persons subject to the jurisdiction of the Commission. The proposed emergency rule will supersede and replace LSA document number 21453E, the emergency rule adopted at the September 2021 meeting. The Commission's reason and rationale for adopting that emergency rules remains true and support today's action. Today's rule includes improvements to LSA document 231E based on Commission staff's application of the rule and ongoing dialogue with licensees in the Office of Management and Budget, which are routine and practical results of the rulemaking process. The rule package adopted in September of 2021 and before you today are substantially similar in context. Commission staff is pleased with the results of the emergency rule to date, as we believe that there was a substantial and immediate need that was not only identified but remedied with this package. For these reasons, Commission staff is requesting approval of the emergency rule adoption and extension to address the need as staff works through the final rule promulgation process. The notice of intent to adopt the rule was filed with the Indiana Register March 1st of 2022, and we anticipate the formal rule being in place within the calendar year. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Dudley concerning proposed resolution 2022-54? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve order 2022-55 as presented by staff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I got the number wrong.
it's all right. I think it is.
It is 54.
Oh, I messed up.
And the reason there is confusion on the previous agenda, Bet Indiana was on the agenda as order 2022-54. That has been removed from the agenda, so this will be 54.
My apologies, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
it's confusing.
Could you restate, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My apologies, Mr. Chairman. I would make a motion to approve order 2022-54 as presented by staff.
Seconds the motion. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve resolution 2022-54, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Commissioners, next you have before you order 2022, and it'll be 55, concerning a request received from casino licensee Full House Resorts, whereby it requested approval of a proposed financing transaction. In addition to seeking permission to act on the proposed financing transactions, casino licensees also requested a waiver of 68 IAC's so-called two-meeting requirement in accordance with the Commission's authority contained in Resolution 2017-109. Confidential details of the proposed financial transaction, as well as the Commission staff's analysis, were provided to the Commissioners in their confidential materials. In accordance with the procedures identified in Resolution 2017-109, the casino licensee was issued an interim approval for the proposed financing transaction. The interim approval contained the following conditions. First, the terms articulated in the final financing documentation do not materially differ from the terms that were presented in writing for approval. Second, the terms of the final documentation do not violate Indiana Code 4-33 or 4-35. Third, each casino licensee must provide the commission with a legal opinion demonstrating compliance with Indiana Code 4-33 and 4-35. And finally, the casino licensee must close on its prospective financial transaction by certain dates. Resolution 2017-109 requires that any interim financial approval that is issued must be reported to the commission for consideration and final ratification or other direction. Thank you. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Commissioners, any questions for Counselor Dudley? Hearing none, what is your pleasure concerning proposed order 2022-55?
The approval of order 2022-55. Is that right?
Your second.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve order 2022-55. Is there any further discussion on the motion? None. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Dennis.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Next on the agenda today is a presentation from representatives from Churchill Downs. As background, in late January 2021, Churchill Downs informed Commission staff that is working to secure an alternate site for its proposed Terre Haute Casino along State Road 46 and I-70. On February 1st, 2022, Churchill Downs provided the Commission with transactional documents related to the new location. Commission staff has reviewed the transactional documents related to the new location and found no derogatory information. Commission staff's confidential reports and all transactional documents have been provided in your meeting documents. Churchill Downs has confirmed no changes to the scope, capital expenditure, or any other factor outlined under Indiana Code Section 4-38-6.7-4 as a result of this proposal. You'll recall that Churchill Downs did timely and properly propose a State Road 46 I-70 location in its original application. Churchill Downs has provided letters of support for this move from Vigo County Commissioners and Terre Haute Mayor Duke Bennett, which have also been provided to you all. Commission staff has reviewed relevant statute and regulations and determined no need for the commission to formally approve the new location. However, given the importance of the change, commission staff has asked officials from Churchill Downs to present information about this move today to you all and answer any questions that you may have. Questions for me at this time? I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Jason Sauer in Churchill Downs to give his presentation.
Thank you. Questions for council? Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mullen. Commission staff, commissioners, good afternoon. My name is Jason Sauer. I'm the Senior Vice President of Corporate Development for Churchill Downs Incorporated. With me this afternoon are Ryan Jordan, Senior Vice President of Real Estate Development for CDI, Betsy James, Vice President of Government Relations for CDI, and Michael Mayer, Vice President for Gaming Operations for CDI. Michael, I want to point out in particular, who's been licensed twice in the state of Indiana before with his work, both at Belterra and at Caesars in Southern Indiana. We'll be starting the licensure soon. It's contemplated that once we hire a GM, that GM will report operationally to Michael at our corporate headquarters. Good to see you all again. Want to note that I think we're on track for this meeting to last approximately 6 hours shorter than the last time we were together here on November 17th.
Don't be so sure about that.
That's the hope. I'm aspirational. So speaking of that meeting in November, I wanted to reiterate on behalf of the company our gratitude for the commission staff, not only for your patience and your endurance, but also the trust that you've placed in us as a company. Suffice to say, we're extremely excited about entering the Indiana gaming market, but not just entering the market, it's how we're doing it. We're extremely excited about this project. It's been quite a wait for the people of Vigo County for this casino to get off the ground and for the groundbreaking, which we're going to be talking about shortly, and we plan on delivering. Just have a few slides for you today, but starting with the first, and as Mr. Mullen pointed out, first of all, we're extremely excited about the project, and our goal here, as we stated back in November, is to deliver a true destination resort for the Midwest based in West Central Indiana. Now, the aspect of our proposal, which we obviously received a lot of support and received the trust of your recommendation for us to receive the license, where we received the most input was with respect to our site, whether it was here in front of the commission, where we received some feedback during that meeting, whether it was in meetings with local officials, whether it was in unsolicited public support that we received, or whether it was a lot of the public comments that were solicited by the commission as back part of the public competitive process. And while there was definite support for our original site identified in the application, which was an approximately 20-acre site on the west side of town near the Haute City Center shopping mall, the strong preference was for development on the east side of town. That's why we reiterated throughout the process, as Mr. Mullen pointed out, from our original application back in September to an amendment of that application that we filed to our comments during the November 17th public meeting, that we were continuing to evaluate other locations for the construction of the Queen of Terre Haute. As this slide indicates, that work continued after our selection on November 17th for the recipient of the certificate of suitability. That period since November 17th, it's been the owners of all of the 3 sites associated with the other applicants have reached out to us, and we've engaged, had good conversations with the owners of all those 3 sites. So you see on those slides, on the slide, that some of these sites will be familiar to you. And each of those sites had its advantages. However, we ultimately didn't find them to be quite right to accommodate our project. That's why we ultimately chose to acquire the 25-acre parcel that was associated with the Premier Gaming Group's bid, as well as an adjacent 25-acre parcel. As Mr. Mullen pointed out, we entered into definitive contracts for these 2 parcels, the first on February 14th and the second yesterday. And both those contracts have been provided to the commission. Okay, on to this slide, why we are extremely excited about this new site and why we're asking for the commission's support to proceed with development on this revised site. There are many reasons, but there are 3 that I want to focus on: size, accessibility, and overwhelming public support. First, size. 50 acres really says it all. It's more than twice the size of our original site, and it's nearly twice the size of any of the sites that were identified back during the competitive process in the fall. Accessibility. The site is in the heart of a thriving commercial area of Vigo County, an area that's been planned to accommodate growth such as this. It fits with the existing road and infrastructure plan for the city of Terre Haute in Vigo County. And overwhelming public support. As I alluded to before, our request to develop on this revised site reflects the clear desire of the Terre Haute community and many local and state stakeholders. This is where most in Terre Haute wanted this development to occur from the beginning, and they are thrilled about our plan to build there. As Mr. Mullen pointed out, we've shared with the commission letters of support for this move from Mayor Duke Bennett, from County Commissioners Mike Morris, Chris Schweitzer, and Brendan Kearns, as well as last week's unanimous 8-0 vote of the City Council supporting our rezoning of this new site to accommodate the construction of our casino. As I mentioned a moment ago, during the November 17th public hearing, more than one of the commissioners encouraged us to explore this move. We were listening. We took decisive action since November 17th, and we now have a plan and a site that have unified Terre Haute. Before I turn it over to Ryan to talk more about our progress towards groundbreaking, I also want to reiterate another point that Mr. Mullen made before I had a chance to, and that's at the bottom of this slide, that nothing about the scope or the scale of our original proposal that you approved back in November has changed. What's more, this site, it's 50 acres. It's going to allow us to not just build what we told you we were going to build, but it also gives us ample room and flexibility as we look forward to think about future expansion and adjacent development opportunities as soon as demand warrants it. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Ryan Jordan now, but we'll happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Jason. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, staff. As Jason said, I'm Ryan Jordan, Senior Vice President of Real Estate Development for Churchill Downs. The next slide that I'll bring your attention to is the site plan that we filed with the local officials in Terre Haute. This shows the facility built on our new 50-acre site in East Terre Haute. Just to orient you, I-70 runs east to west, just south of this site as shown on the slide. Exit 11 just to the east where guests would access the facility. They'll enter the property via a roadway which is already existing at Margaret Drive. There are two entrances shown off of Margaret Drive, highlighted towards the bottom of the page. Guests could enter one of those entrances in the parking lot and park their vehicle around the property on three sides on the east, west, and south of the facility. The north portion of the parking lot will be reserved for team members and employees accessing the facility. We'll have three main building entrances for guests into the property. One on the east side, which will also serve as a hotel entrance, and then two other additional entrances located on the southeast and southwest corner. As guests enter from those points, they'll have two entrances onto the gaming floor from there. A hotel tower, as you can see highlighted in blue, will rise above the facility on the east side, shaded in the blue dashed line. And then additionally, you'll see other amenities, as Jason was talking about. On the site, we have several parcels, one to the east and one to the north, which is just identified for future potential opportunities should those exist. We also are accommodating all of the stormwater retention and runoff from the parking lot with two different ponds located on the facility. Towards the top of the page, you'll see a roadway with future parking entrances. The city of Terre Haute has planned to construct a new roadway to the north of this property called New Margaret Avenue. And they also plan to construct a road to the west called Rockwood Drive. Those roads were planned before we selected this site and as part of their plan long-term, but our facility will work very well, as Jason mentioned, with the existing. The next slide just updates you on where we are with the planning and zoning process. In order to build on this site, there were 4 approvals we needed to seek locally. The first is to combine the 2 different parcels into one new subdivision plat. The second was to rezone the property from agricultural use into a commercial or C3 zoning. The third approval, given our proximity to the airport, was to file an approval with the FAA to seek their approval and clearance. And the fourth is a local Terre Haute code where any building over 125 feet in height has to receive a variance. So text highlighted in green are steps that we've already taken and already received approval on. In early February, we filed the rezoning and height variance applications, as well as submitted our application with the FAA. On March 3rd, we received unanimous approval from the City Council to rezone the land, which was a big step moving forward on this site. March 17th, we go back to Terre Haute to hear and receive approval for the height variance. On April 6th, we expect approval for the subdivision plat. And then the FAA approval is a 90-day window. That application was filed on February 9th, so that approval could come earlier, but the outside range would be May 9th. If all of those approvals are received by the dates that we've identified here, we expect to close on the property after receiving all of those approvals and hope to break ground shortly thereafter, as early as late May. With that, we'd be happy to take any questions, or any of our colleagues would as well. Thank you.
Mr. Jordan, I have a couple of questions. You anticipate any problems with these 3 pending approvals that you need?
We do not. We have been spent several times in Terre Haute and talked with a lot of officials. We don't anticipate any. The FAA has already, or the local Terre Haute airport has already reviewed our plan and signaled favorably that we're okay. We looked at the location of the hotel tower specifically, and it's outside of the departure path for the airport. It's just a formal process to receive that approval is the only outstanding piece from them.
Late May, you're planning to break ground. That's the goal if these approved.
That's correct. Really contingent upon the FAA approval would be kind of driving that, but that's what we're anticipating.
So secondary question is, how long will it delay the project from?
We have the 3-month approval process here, which started in early February. We still are anticipating opening in late 2023. We were projecting a 14-month construction window, and we're still working through that with our construction partners, F.A. Wilhelm and Harmon Construction. We're working through on our other projects, things we're seeing with the supply chain due to COVID with roofing insulation materials, electrical distribution equipment, some of those things that just are taking longer to get. Because we haven't put this out to bid yet to the contract, we don't have those definitive dates, but we're still projecting late 2023 to actually open the facility.
I'm trying to remember what your original proposal was, but it appears that you're going to use the lion's share of this extra property that you got for surface parking. And it also appears from your site plan that all of your parking is surface parking. Is that correct?
Yes, all parking on this site would be surface parking.
And that was not the case in the previous plan, I don't think, was it? Did you have parking garage in there somewhere?
It wasn't, Commissioner, that there was no parking garage contemplated in the original plan. It was just significantly, it was going to be rather parking constrained at the original site.
Okay, well, I was trying to remember because we were looking at a lot of stuff back then. That looks like a lot of surface parking and some runoff problems. I see that you have a stormwater pond. Hopefully you'll put some trees and be environmentally friendly with all that sea of cars.
Yes, absolutely. Our landscaping, there is no local landscaping code in the city of Terre Haute, but we plan to install lots of landscaping around the facility, obviously to make the site attractive. A comment on the stormwater retention ponds, because we're close to the airport, they prefer to not have water in the ponds, which would attract birds, and they don't like that close to the airport. So that's why they're larger, so that the water would drain quicker than it would in another pond.
Two questions following up on Chairman Main's question. On the three remaining items, are those scheduled? Has there been any delays on those meetings? Just trying to make sure those are the meetings that were scheduled, or has any of the Board of Zoning or area plan been delayed at all?
So the height variance, the local Terre Haute code meeting that's scheduled for March 17th, that was supposed to occur on March 2nd. But there were 5 people that vote in that meeting, and 3 of the voting members were not able to attend. But they were able to call a special meeting, hear the height variance on March 17th, so that wouldn't push our overall schedule out any.
The second question is, you mentioned that the city of Terre Haute is planning on extending Margaret Drive and adding to the west Rockwood Lane. Is that in conjunction with building the facility, or will that be after the facility is built?
They haven't given us a date on when it would actually be constructed. Our traffic studies and everything we've looked at, we don't need it for the facility. All the traffic will come from the south via East Margaret Drive, but they had planned to add those roads to help with the overall district and traffic, coming to the facility from the north or from elsewhere. So they haven't given us a date. They had planned to do it once someone, whether it was us or someone else, planned a development on the site that we've selected. But they have to re-engage those discussions with their budget and with contractors and determine a schedule from there.
Because those are to the west and the north of the site, it has very little impact on your traffic flow because they're entering from the south part. So as long as the construction is mostly in areas that is not impeding on your flow of traffic, you should be okay if they decide to construct after you're done.
That's correct. They've already acquired the rights of way to build those roads. So that already exists. They don't have to acquire any land for them. They just have to work with contractors to figure out a construction schedule.
Mentioned some noteworthy public support. Any noteworthy opposition to the relocation?
No one spoke at either of the meetings in opposition to our plan. We heard from neighbors. They had some questions around specifically landscaping and how we were going to integrate with the rest of the facility. So we're working with them. We will probably plan to install a berm along the north side of the property with some landscaping as well, just to kind of buffer our facility from that new road once it's constructed. But again, no one spoke in opposition at any of the public meetings we've had to date.
Sorry, I have one more question. you mentioned supply chain issues that were going to delay you, but I just was involved in a project not nearly this size that went out to bid. And what we found were price increases that were staggering. And it caused us to have to do some value engineering. And I would hope that in the event that you see the same things we saw, that if there are going to be any substantial changes in the architecture and what we see here in your rendering, that you would come back and talk to us about that.
Absolutely. We're certainly seeing those price increases in our other projects elsewhere. We have not had any value engineering discussions with this project. If anything, we're seeing some price increases. I think we said $240 million to start. We recently updated a range that said it could be up to 260. And that has to do with supply chain increases that we're seeing on other projects that we're building around the country.
Mr. Dudich.
I'm always the guy that has the last question or just says I'm done and I think of another one. Maybe a question, but more of a statement. Obviously, we've been through a lot, both the state of Indiana, City of Terre Haute, Vigo County, Churchill Downs, getting to this point. We want to have a casino there as quickly as possible, understanding supply chain, understanding other things. And it sounds like 3 things are left to kind of get that shovel in the ground. What I would appreciate is and I think the commission might as well, but I don't want to speak for the commission, is as you go through that process, if there are things that become impediments, either publicly or as you talk to others, I think it'd be helpful for the commission staff to understand that. We're almost there. And as I always say in my previous jobs, it's that last 10 yards that ends up fouling you up and something might happen. So if you're hearing things, if you're noticing things that may or may not become impediments in the future, I think it's helpful for us to understand that because it's very important for the state of Indiana, the commission, as we grant these licenses and understand the value that these facilities have in Indiana, that we understand those impediments and see what solution we can come up with as the commission, as Churchill Downs, the county, the city, whatnot. So if there are things that crop up, I think it would be helpful for the staff to know and understand what that is and how we can be helpful as a commission.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Misters Root or Fine, do you have any questions or comments?
None by me.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Oh, any closing?
Looking at a June meeting, commissioners, we will circulate calendars very shortly, so we can get that out to you guys into the public, but we will be targeting early June meeting.
Folks, that concludes our business today. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.